Good morning. It's 9:27 a.m. It is February 10th. Happy Saturday. Some of you guys might still be in bed. So I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. I just want to come on here and make a quick video. Pretty much, I have my day planned to just kind of do little projects here and there based on what I'm in the mood for. And just kind of occupy my time. Of course, I'll be making videos throughout the day. When I start working on my projects, certain thoughts come to my mind. I'm going to share my thoughts. That's part of why I make my content and the purpose of it. So I was thinking, how I've been feeling, just about the depression and the reasons why it makes me feel the way that I feel, and how it creates like you're dealing with something dark when you go around certain people and you could feel their energy, or you could feel the residual effects of what they brought into your life, which is one of the reasons why I feel as though spiritual baths and cleansing of the home is so important. I will be doing a video on that, on how to do it if you're not familiar with it. But, energy can get transferred. You know what I mean? It can definitely be transferred. And, I know when, in the past, like for example, you're dealing with gang stalking. So people who come into your house, like utility people, they already know who you are. Okay, they know who you are. They can't wait to come in so they can like scope your shit out and then tell somebody about it, right? It's all a part of the community, whatever gang stalking plan. So every time I would have to interact with people in my home, I would definitely follow up with a cleansing and then do something to distract myself to forget that the interaction took place, because I try to keep my home as spiritually clean as I possibly can. And oftentimes, when you're dealing with negativity, and it's aimed at you, because there was a time, I would say things were better in the community, of course, but in the beginning where I was dealing with a lot of heavy targeting, and I needed to, desperately needed to get away from that sort of energy, because believe me, people were sending it to me. And so, I think it's important to take care of your home and guard it, through all kinds of means that you can, every mean that you can, whether that be cleansing it, praying over it, a combination of all those things that you can do to block off as much negative energy as you can. And like I said, I will be following up on videos about that sort of stuff on my Patreon channel. Anyway, so I was thinking, about when I was a kid, how I used to love watching that movie, The Parent Trap, right? And see, I'm not a big Disney lover. Okay, like I used to have a lot of friends who were mesmerized by all these Disney TV shows, the animation, the theme park, everything Disney, 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 Disney. I know Disney was huge with kids when I was a kid. My thing is about Disneyland and Walt Disney is that I understand where they're very entertaining to kids, and there's been a few productions that caught my eye. Oh, especially like their animation. Like I think just about everybody loves Snow White. Okay, everyone loves Snow White. I like watching the old version of the Cinderella and all that other stuff. But some of their Walt Disney movies, I will say that I honestly enjoyed watching as a kid. And some of the why do I think this? Yeah, Walt Disney. I believe it was a Walt Disney production. Anyway, Haley Mills in the movie, when she meets her sister. I think that expressed somehow watching that movie. I remember as a kid, me having a deep need to have like a twin. I wanted a twin. Now I don't know if it was because it was from a psychic connection, or was it because it's just Haley Mills and she's really cute. She's got a little sister, and you wish that you had a twin too. But I don't know. It's unfortunate that I had a twin. I do have a twin, but I find out number one that we're not identical. We're fraternity twins. We're two different people, two different mindsets, two different belief systems, whatever. And so, and was this person was basically from the get go set up to go against me as an enemy. It's like, wow. Yeah, I'm telling you, like when you're dealing with gang stalking, it just fucks up all your dreams, everything that you care about, anything that you view as sacred or whatever, it just plows right through it. That's why I'm telling you, when you see something like this happen, and infiltrates, like I said, the things that are sacred, like having a family structure that is like just like rotten from ground up is not a good thing. Okay, so I went through a lot. So anyway, but yeah, I remember just watching the movie and thinking that that would be a really cool thing to have a twin. Well, how I view like, and I used to think, well, how would that be? Like, how would it be if I had a twin? And what would be my ideal scenarios living with my twin? And I kept thinking, chances are we would be very, very close if I had a twin that was more like me. Okay, not saying that the one I'm not interested in knowing my actual twin, but I would think that there would be a lot of similarities, and I noticed that some twins are just like they're very very like what's the word for it? Almost like it to the point of where they feel like they're still attached to each other, in the womb, which I think is cool. Sometimes you see people they're in their 30s, they got their sister or their brother with them, and they wear the same outfits and do that kind of stuff, and they live next door to each other. There's even some twins who marry other twins so that they can get pregnant around the same time, and I just think we are very special. Twins are special, okay, but. I don't know if I would. See, because here's the thing. Even though I wanted a twin, I've always respected my individualism. You know what I mean? So, I'm sure there would be some times where it would be cool, like if I had a twin that I could get along with, or I could, actually was identical to me or somewhat. It would be cool to, like dress up alike every once in a while, that kind of stuff. Um, but I would still want to have that space, you know what I mean? So that I could, you know what I mean? I'm still very, individualistic. And there's some twins who are individualistic, and there's some who just kind of work in harmony and literally cannot function one without the other. It's very special. Do I think that twins are somehow soulmates? And I think, yeah, I do. I do think twins are soulmates in some form, okay? And not always in a positive way. You know what I mean? Like I personally think that my actual twin is some form of, and I don't know which ancestor she is, but I do believe that she's some form of an ancestor that lived long ago that I may have been in conflict with indirectly, like it is now. It is what it is. You know what I mean? There's so much information that I want to get on my life and um, all of this like past life stuff and cracking codes, and this is what I'm like really really passionate about. But yeah, I think about that, and I think about watching those old Disney shows and how it mesmerized kids into a form of a mindset that they almost had. They were just, I don't know. I just remember some of the kids that I knew when I was a kid seemed Disney hypnotized. You know what I mean? I wasn't so much like that. You know what I mean? I do think that there were certain characters that in Disney that did kind of strike my interest, and I did like Tinkerbell. I like Tinkerbell. I loved reading the Cinderella book, the printed book. Okay, I loved looking at the pictures of it because she was drawn very like very dainty. You know what I mean? And she was just so like prissy, and I just thought she was. Actually, I actually liked her in her Cinderella clothes before she got to be overly glamorous as the full-blown Cinderella at the ball and everything like that. Because personally, the little outfit she had with the apron with the slippers, I thought she looked pretty darn cute. But I liked some of the Disney stuff. But I wasn't one of those like Disney fanatics, and I sure as hell have never been the kind of person who enjoyed going to Disneyland. Okay, I mean, I remember we went to Disney. My dad took us to Disneyland, and I don't remember the trip that we took as a family to Disneyland, but it must have been shortly after. I was moved in with the Gordon family, and I do believe that possibly could have been a strategic plan. Why? Because Disney is known for its ability to, mesmerize children. And hopefully, once moving into that household by taking me to like Disneyland, it would be a way of me trying to forget, like hypnotize me a little bit or something. That could have possibly been one of the reasons why they took me there. But that was the only time we ever went. I do remember going in school a few times in my school age years. But I do recall the times that I went there as an older adult. I felt really agitated there. It's not that I didn't enjoy the atmosphere. It's just like, you want to. I just don't like standing in line for rides and stuff, and I really don't like crowds. And as an adult, no, I just can't get into that. But anyway, enough of Disney and frivolous conversation. I wanted to kind of address like the issue of people who got involved in the obviously I would have never had any desire to compete with my twin. I think my initial reaction to finding out having a twin, my first initial before just not knowing that I was a clone and all this other weird stuff. I think if somebody said, hey, you have a twin, I think my initial reaction would be, of course, hey, I want to meet this person. I want to try to develop a connection with this person because believe me, I would love to find people who are like me. I would love that. Who had similar traits, okay? I would love that. But the thing is that this is one of these really warped, like Mandalay type experiments, and that's what I can only think of it this way. And this is one of the reasons why there is some sort of like friction and this tension and this hatred, basically, that she has towards me. So I I like the idea of being around people who support my lifestyle. And I do think that this person, my actual twin, is most likely somebody who has different values. You know what I mean? Like we must be like completely opposite of each other in some way. You know what I mean? So yeah, and so there were people who got involved in this, like we're supporting her because obviously they're going to support her because she's like not she's been like around a lot of important people all her life, okay, and I have been like followed by important people all my life, and I didn't have the same sort of access to certain resources that she had. So I grew up differently than her. So she had support, I guess, in the beginning of a lot of people. So basically, to me, it's so hateful. I don't even want to go into it. You know what I mean? That's part of the devastation. It's like there is, like I said, nothing sacred when it comes to this sort of operation. This is why this shit to me is so goddamn demonic. You know what I mean? Like I said, when I think of family, I think of someone that you're close to, someone that you care about, someone that you have like this heartfelt connection. You have to have a strong family structure. In order to feel like you can survive like each generation after the next generation, there's got to be some sort of like bond there. And if you don't have a strong family bond, it's going to be very difficult for you to maintain your existence in a positive manner throughout your future generations. This is why family is supposed to be sacred. You don't want to sit here and have like conflict in your family. When there's conflict in your family to that degree, that means that there's something cursed and wicked going on. You know what I mean? It's not a positive thing. Okay, your family structure should be very sacred. If you have children, you need to treat them as they're sacred. They are you. You know what I mean? And so, to me, this whole thing is just so beyond twisted, sick, and I can't even handle it. But anyway, so then there's the people who are angry because there was like a lot of mind control that went on. It was the religious, what do you call it? Brainwashing. It was the conditional brainwashing. The platform of Lancaster, California was meant. I mean, just like I look at it and I kind of laugh because I'm starting to think about people that I used to know, people that I used to see, people that used to intrigue me. Maybe not, I never had an opportunity to actually like talk to them in depth, but I would see these people and it made me wonder. And of course, I'm not going to name names, okay? Because, you know, these people have never attacked me. I don't recall these people attacking me directly. They may have, possibly talked about me behind my back. I don't know, okay? But, you know, as far as I can remember, I never had any negative interaction with them, but I would just see them, right? And I remember seeing, like, you know, people that just seemed too, I don't want to use the word perfect, okay? But I guess I'm going to have to use the word, like, kind of ideal. Like, you know the movie The Stepford Wives, right? There was this one lady who always had a smile on her face. Like, and she was always, like, you know, riding her little bicycle with a little basket. I mean, it just seemed like, what the hell? She always had a smile on her face. And it looked like she was having that smile on her face, like you could just read her mind, like she just couldn't wait to go home and wash those goddamn dishes. Like she was, like, programmed or something. And you start thinking about these kind of people, and it's like, oh wow, you know, I highly suspect this person of being, you know, a clone or whatever. And obviously, this person was a lot older than me, so it tells me that if this person was indeed one, okay, this means that, like I said, you know, this operation or these sort of experiments have been going on way longer before I was born. So anyway, I've got that to think about, and then of course, like going back to the issue of these people who knew me growing up and then, you know, were kind of like choosing sides and teams and stuff like this. Let this be a lesson, you know what I mean? This is the sort of stuff that they close their mind off to, you know. And when you talk to people about, like, certain forms of conspiracies and alternative thoughts and views, they will yell at you, they will tell you that you're crazy, and meanwhile these same people are participating in the very same thing that you're discussing. You know what I mean? But they don't think that it's them. Oh no, that's them, but not us. You know what I mean? This is one of the reasons why I find these sort of things so fascinating, because, you know, people will talk about things that they read. Like I was talking with the guy who was at work, who was admitting that, you know, the Inquisition was wrong and that was sort of behavior was just absolutely uncalled for, but yet he was participating in my targeting. There's a lot of what you call double think, double talk, double think. People who have, like, bizarre views. They believe in one thing, but yet they support another. You know what I mean? It's the mind control that has been uh, that is meant to be there. Okay, people. I understand that people are deeply, deeply uh, mind controlled, deeply mind controlled. You know what I mean? And this is the result of being that way. This is the result of not having a mind of your own. This is the result of not being able to analyze and think things through. You know what I mean? Are you really that educated? I question that, and then this is one of the reasons why. Don't get me wrong, you know, I respect people who value knowledge, okay, but knowledge is something that is, to me, real wealth, okay. To me, knowledge is real wealth, because that way you understand how to navigate yourself through life and not make decisions that are based on um, what is at the time trendy or fashionable. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to make bold moves. I'm not. I'm not afraid to. You know, because I do. I am my own little, what do you call it? Scientist. I do my own little interesting revolutionary studies of social science, or as if you may want to call it. You know, I'm a natural born psychologist. One of those, you know what I mean? I'm grateful for my genius. See, and that's where the word comes from. The word comes from something that it's believed to be coming from supernatural origins. This is one of the reasons why you see people who, like myself, who have issues with, like, these standardized testing programs in the workplace, because they're looking for, like, they probably are looking for a special kind of dummy, somebody who just wants to sit here and take instructions and stuff like that. So they want this particular profile. Is that what their purpose of it is? But the thing is that they're always arguing. Okay, analytical. Are you creative? Are you expressive? I mean, yes, people can be both. They can be. And this is one of the things about geniuses. They tend to master things that are completely opposite of one another. You know what I mean? This is one of the reasons what makes people like us looked upon as deities, okay, because this is unusual in regular humans, right? Okay, so I get that. Obviously, I don't know much about my twin, but there's this sort of like competition. Like I said, I do believe she was an ancient ancestor of some sort. I don't know. And there's going to be a day where I'm going to just sit here and I'm going to literally line my four corners of my room with a particular color of candle, and I'm just going to burn like ceremonial incense. And with ceremonial incense is completely different than the little stick or the cone incense that people that I show in my instructional videos. I use that form of incense because it's the most convenient. Okay, it is convenient. But there's sometimes where you can make your own special blend of incense. And in this case, this is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, and that's basically using a piece of charcoal that is meant to be burned inside of a house. And then also, it could be leaves, it could be foliage, it could be dry flower, it could be so many different combinations of things that you can throw on there. This is what incense is made of, really, okay? But I'm going to be doing mind work to try to figure out which ancestor is who, okay? I need to split all of this out, and I need to receive the visions of that, okay? Because this is a part of my life's work. Um, and I would definitely be sharing all that with you guys as I start to figure things out. There's a lot of things that I'm just like really trying to gain information when it comes to my spiritual life. You know what I mean? And this is where I'm like I said, it is my main focus because like seriously, living here on this planet is just like it's no fun. But I have to live out my karmic duties, meaning like what I mean by duties is like, obviously I have a lesson to learn from all of this. Okay. And I don't believe that suicide is the solution. Okay. But in the emperor's case, the emperor took himself out because it was a matter of some sort of thing that must have been so important. How this whole thing turned out must have been so important that he would rather do that than let it be written that somebody took him out. Okay. Um, I know, like, you know, I'm a very strong person, and there's certain things that I do want to accomplish on this earth before it's my time to go, and I deserve that. There is no fucking reason why somebody would ever try to say that I don't. I do deserve that. And so I feel as though that's what's keeping me here. Now, I want to explore those sides uh, of of my life. Like I also have been obsessed about creating portals. I don't know exactly how to go about that. I do think that it's going to be a lot of work, but I want to experiment and share those experiments. Okay, things that I have not quite done yet. Or I'm tempted to do, or maybe, actually I've never really attempted to make a portal. It's just the kind of shit that I think about when I'm in bed, because I'm so bored with my everyday life. But I've read about other people who have been able to be successful creating them. Now, I don't know if these are exaggerated stories or, but I figure, fuck, I want to give it a try. I want to give it a try. You know what I mean? Some people work with groups of other people to try to attain these sort of things. I don't like working with groups when it comes to that sort of high manifestation work. I would rather attempt it my own way, mainly because I can focus on things like really deeply. Okay, but when anytime you're trying to do something like that, it's like you got to have people who are focused at the same time, and that's a very hard thing to do. Very hard thing to do. But yeah, is that something that I'd like to accomplish? Like, if I could create portals that could, like, somehow, switch me through, like, different locations or whatever. If I could do that, that would be amazing. You know what I mean? But those are little bizarre things that just kind of keep my mind going, entertaining me because, like I said, like what's going on around me in my life, I just want to somehow distance myself from it. I personally fucking can't stand it. I hate it. Okay, I'm just gonna be right out there. I hate it. The fact that it wiped out my past. It wiped out my ability to have some sort of identity. Meaning, like I realized my family was fake. Now, mind you, I know that I wasn't related to them and that sort of stuff, and explains like why I'm so different. So then that's a good thing. It kind of gives me comfort in that matter. But to have like your whole foundation ripped out from underneath you. Like your whole identity. All my life I thought that I was born in Nevada. You know what I mean? No, you're not. You're a completely different person. And even though it's cool, it's very fucking cool. It explains that, like, explains certain things to me. Like I said, because I remember certain things when I was a little kid. Things that people, like people that would come to our house, things that people say, and the interactions that we would have. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, oh shit, that person. I get it now. I fully understand. Okay, but still, it's heartbreaking because what makes my mother Mary Gordon. I always knew that my mother was kind of a lazy person and just did whatever she could get by with. Okay, she really wasn't into the mother thing full swing. Maybe she was when she first got started. Like I said, I don't believe it was her intention to run out of steam and fuel for being a mother. Because I said, the letters that she wrote to my father, she really did seem like she had a lot of like hope for the future and have a great family life and so on and so forth. But I understand that my mom wasn't like the best mom. She didn't really love her children as much as like that little depiction of a little mouse serving her kids happily with the little apron on, and she really didn't. Okay, but there were times where she seemed like more affectionate and whatever. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the old people that used to know me. Like I said, I'm not cutting everybody off. Okay, like when it comes to my family, yes. Okay, and there are certain people, yeah, I do want to connect with. Okay, and like I said, if you're interested in connecting with me, then do so. Okay, but if I'm showing that I'm not like responding to you like within 3 days or something like that, obviously that's a sign that maybe there's something going on, that makes me feel like I can't really feel like I can trust. Like I don't want any double agents. If you feel like you miss me so much that you want to have a relationship with me at this point, then I get it. Okay, that's fine. You can make that attempt. But if you're doing it only because you're trying to, give this information over to, my ex sister or something who has some sort of vendetta against me for God knows why, not dealing with my religion or whatever. That's just an example, okay? I'm not interested in playing those sort of games. And eventually, and I don't like to sit here and mind tap each and every fucking person. Now, mind you, I do have some like emails and stuff like that I need to return, and at the present moment, everybody that I've communicated with, I have no vendettas or anything like that against these people. Sometimes I'm very shut in on myself. Okay, I deal with a lot of depression that I don't even want to talk. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to hear anybody. I don't want to, I need to like just shut anything that relates to humans out. Okay. And I understand that some people don't understand why I'm such a loner, like I'm so closed in on myself. Like I said, if you've been abused by everybody you've ever known, if you ever had to deal with something that a situation where you're dealing with mind control, um, you're going to have an issue with people. You're going to have times where you need to just shut down. Okay, and it's not something that because obviously I'm going to tell you what, in the last few months where people who've reached out to me and stuff like that, I'm really so glad and grateful for every single last one of them. I'm really glad and grateful. Okay, it really makes me appreciate people who support me, and I'm really happy about it. And then the sad part is, deep down inside, I know that I'm not showing people enough attention, and I feel really bad about that. I do. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up, okay? Because I do feel bad about it. You know what I mean? I feel bad about it, and I did start developing like a conscience about it, and then I start feeling guilty about it, and then sometimes I feel like I need to just disappear because I'm sad because I can't pull myself out of this depression to even have conversation sometimes. Maybe it's like it can be really hard on me. Okay, and I want people to understand that it is in no way me being angry at them or anything like that. Okay, so please understand that. Eventually, I will pull myself out of it. It might be tomorrow. It might be like 3 o'clock. I am literally following this sort of like weird tide of my emotions right now. I'm just really into my fucking emotions right now. And like I said, if I start thinking about something. Maybe I'll hear a song and it might pep me up, and then hey, you know what? It makes me want to send off that email. Okay, it's just like right now, everything is sluggish. Okay, I don't expect people to fully understand how my mind works, but I'm just giving you like a sneak preview of how it works. Okay, I'm a complex person because obviously I have complex issues, but when it comes to the people like I used to do, I mean, like I said, it depends on people's heart condition. If they really are concerned and caring about me, they will. There's a lot of people in my past who are resentful and angry that I have evolved to this point. Okay, because they were comfortable with the understanding that it was always believed that Maria was less than. It was always believed that Maria was like, this weirdo who probably didn't fit in with the majority of the people. And she seemed like, the only thing she ever wanted to do was giggle and be whatever. And yes, I'm so glad that I think my sense of humor helped me rise above it all. You know what I mean? Or maybe that special gift of trying to of making up these little jokes within my mind. It probably was, you know what I mean? I have to be grateful that I can be known as somebody who was goofy, especially during a time where something like that heavy, of targeting was going on, and that that this humor somehow helped me get through it all. You know what I mean? But this is the story. This is the reality. So, for people in my past who believed it, who dealt with mind control, okay, who are opening their eyes and realizing that things aren't always what you think they are, okay, which is something that I've always believed, okay, which is something that I was persecuted for, okay. If that means something to you, then like I said, make attempts to how to get in touch with me, okay. And I at that point will have to take some time out and realize that hey, how is this person with I need time to think about things, okay, because like I said, I'm so tired of games. I'm so tired of games, and I'm tired of dealing with that sort of infiltration. Like I said, the reason why these sort of experiments are so brutal is because they don't understand the secret. They their mission, their purpose, and what they are not able to have that sort of empathy. Like I said, that to me is like it's like they just like destroy everything sacred, everything that you think is beautiful, everything that you care about. Your whole life, you just like throwing it into the trash can. Any positive thought that you thought of somebody, see, and I don't want to. I need to know everything. You know what I mean? It's like it just disgusts you. You know what I mean? It's like it's hellish. The hellish fucking goddamn nightmare. You know, and it's a downer. It's a real big downer. So I do understand that on Saturday, what do you call it? Saturday activity discussion. People talk about me a lot, and the reason why I know this is because I can feel this. I can feel it in my body, and we still have those little. It's not as bad as it used to, and I take a lot of. It's actually more like not like when I was younger, a few years ago, like around 2013 or so. It was like really tense because people were so negative and they were always plotting on how to fuck my shit up and all this other stuff because people were like really totally against me. So my body would get really tense and tight, and I could feel it in my solar plexus, and it would just make me very antsy, and a lot of it was going to would make me want to develop some sort of like punch reflex because what I was feeling, the vibration from these irrational people, was so to me foolish and negative, and I was suffering for their dumb actions. I wanted to fight these people. I started realizing I don't know exactly who all is involved. I did know that the girl from Murray Family Farms, I'm going to say for the company, I don't really care, but she was involved in it, okay? And I thought originally, she was like the main perpetrator in this issue until I started really thinking back, like, how long ago, what other situations where I had been in, right? So I understand, like, and these people, I want nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? I literally need to turn over a new leaf. You know what I mean? I need to be able to have, um, um, you know, I need to be able to start where I don't have to deal with those memories of these wicked people. evil people, mind control people, and seems as though um, I've only dealt with that sort of thing. I mean, I love that fact that I'm a sincere person. I love the fact that I like to hang and stay with my word. Meaning, like, I don't like to say things to people that aren't true. I try, very hard to um, uh, be a person of my word. Now, I know that, I try not to make too many commitments to people, like, because it's hard for me, and if I can't make a commitment to a person for things that are usually beyond my control, you know what I mean, or something that makes sense. I mean, you gotta understand why I'm not doing something. I feel bad because then I know I don't really have a reason to, but I feel bad anyway. But I do my best to be as kind and caring and caring to people that, show me support. You know what I mean? And I don't, you know, I want to be everything to everybody. I do, but I also am like kind of wise where I need to, sometimes I just shut down. It is what it is. But I do know people talk about me on Saturdays, and I know in the past there was a lot of plotting, a lot of scheming, a lot of people who wanted to take me down, take me out. And this is one of the reasons why I'm still dealing with this issue, these sluggish issues that go on, and because these people, these sort of like games are dangerous. Okay, these sort of mind control games are dangerous, and the way the whole thing was set up for me to have this sort of image in people's minds that that people thought that I was a wicked person when they in themselves were enacting wickedness on me, thinking that they were doing so in the name of perhaps maybe their God or whatever. You know what I mean? Mind control is very heavy. And I would say that a lot of times we people get lured in to being mind controlled through, sadly, religion. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm against people who practice religion. I'm not saying that, okay? I'm just saying there are certain sects or groups or denominations that could where corruption can creep in at any time, okay? And sometimes, people may have started off with the good intentions of being leaders like within a religious group, okay? And what ends up happening is they become corrupt. They start off maybe really appreciating, the things that, the little subtle signs that we do get from God here on the earth, okay? They do acknowledge that there is a being that is greater than us, okay? But what ends up happening is that they start getting followers and they start getting people who start seeing them as like, um, leaders and stuff, and then they start realizing that they have some sort of power and the ability to sway and persuade people. And then sometimes they start getting so power hungry that it could change them into being tyrannical and wanting, and it starts playing out, like, in situations where, like, we're talking about, I've mentioned him before, like Jim Jones, okay? Jim Jones, he started, abusing people sexually. Like if he had some sort of deep sexual desire or something, he knew that he had the power to enact it on people. You know what I mean? Because people thought of him as well, even though he was enacting and violating certain people. You know what I mean? It says that people became mind controlled because of him. They thought that he was so good that he couldn't possibly do anything wrong. You know what I mean? And it's like, and the reason why they have this mindset is because they don't question. They don't question, the things that he said and measured it against the things that he did. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Uh, I'm just somebody who always appreciated free thought, and I know that people always hated me for that. You know what I mean? They hated me because of it. Um, but the thing is, when people, and this is why I truly do believe this, okay? If it wasn't for independent thinkers, then, no one would be able to pinpoint um, corruption. Nobody would be able, nobody would think to pinpoint it and say, hey, this is wrong. You know what I mean? Because the majority of people would be thinking that it was right, right? So anyway, I think what else did I want to bring up? And I'm really tired of the whole racial issue. I'm so burnt out on that issue. Like some people think the racial issue is very, very interesting. I would say that it would have been of interest to me more back in the 80s, and right now at this point I'm so tired of racism that it really just kind of it literally does roll off me like I don't even care. It's like I see, that there's like these little tyrants that want to prove their point with me. Like I said, it's all on them. They can't say that I did anything. There's a lot of insecurity among certain people, and but a lot of well, I think it interests more people on who are on the outside looking at this issue. Like it interests them because this is like a bizarre phenomenon, because there's always been a particular uh, story or narrative that made people feel as though that they have the right to do these things, and that they were there's like a lot what it does is it chips away at the excuses of people who deny their racist behavior, is what it does, and it exposes them for what they really are. And it's like, and easily, it's a no-brainer. Okay, it's like a no-brainer, and it mesmerizes like the people who are on the outside looking in on this situation, and not just white people. It mesmerizes black people. It mesmerizes everybody because it's eye-opening. Okay, but to me, it's just like all I care about. This is how burnt out I am on living on the earth. All I give a shit about is moving on with my life. I mean, like, I could sit here and rub this in the face of so many goddamn people. Okay, I literally do not give a shit. I didn't give a shit from the get go. You know what I mean? What I am angry is that people thought they were entitled to waste my goddamn time. My time is precious. You know what I mean? It is precious, I was thinking about equality today, though. I think what people are never going to give you equality. And I think this is one of the reasons why I felt as though I always kind of, differed in my belief when it came to a lot of like, what do you call it? Like black movements and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm obviously a black person, okay? But when it came to people who wanted or fought for equality, it's like that to me, that mindset. I guess I need to understand where they were coming from a little bit more, because I don't believe that people can fight for equality. No one's going to give you equality. You can't be given equality. There is no such thing as equality, not in my mind, okay? And equality is something that's based on an individual basis. Like, I believe everything is based on an individual basis. You know what I mean? Like, I think right now people are, what I get persecuted for is my superior traits, okay? And that's unusual, okay? But and see, I was dealing with racism with people who felt as though I was going to use my superior traits to possibly turn on the white race, or so. I don't know why they tend to think this, because the reason why they probably instinctively thought this is because they themselves have always used and abused that sort of power. So they assume that they're so, that shit's so embedded in them, they just assume that I'm going to go out and do the same thing. Like I said, I understand how people's mind work. I'm not into the us versus them thing. Never have been. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Really, I don't. I don't. You know what I mean? But I don't, when it comes to equality, I don't believe that people are going to sit here and admit that you are their equal, or they're better. You're superior to them, or they don't do that. Their ego is too important to them. Okay, that's the way it works, and it's their ego that leads them keep on believing, lies or delusions or whatever. I talked about cognitive dissonance sometimes, when that's kind of a belief where like evidence is presented to disprove, this sort of idea or this sort of concept that people like really want to hang on to, but they in their minds are going to sit here and override it with some sort of bizarre justifications that makes them feel comfortable anyway. I'm not interested in any of that or arguing it. You know what I mean? I understand what's at stake here. People want their power. They want power. Regardless if it's ethical, whatever, moral, whatever. They want the easy way out, and they like to abuse people, and this is how it makes it work. Okay? And obviously, it's not a matter, they didn't know that, I don't even want to go into it. But anyway, the point is that when it comes to equality, no one gives you equality. You know what I mean? And when it comes, and I do believe that equality is on an individual basis. I think what people are trying to say, when maybe their version or what they're asking for when it comes to equality is that they want the same access to everybody have access to the same sort of thing, maybe. Okay, but when it comes to the quality of a person, that's on an individual basis, and there's always going to be somebody better. Like let's just say, for example, they created an AI person, right? Or somebody who I don't know. Like they did, they created an AI person whose mind literally thought like chat box. Like you said something and their mind just spilled out dates, all this historical information in in chronological order or something crazy like that in less than 3 seconds. Okay, obviously this person, if you're talking about what is useful to the contribution to society, I would say that Maria would lose out. AI person thinks faster than Maria, right? In this case, I'm not equal. It depends on what you're basing it on. You know what I mean? In this case, I would have to say it back and say, hey, this AI person's got it all. She thinks within 3 seconds. And whatever. Yeah, it would. That's just how it would be. You know what I mean? Um, and so perhaps maybe um, that's how I look at equality. Like equality to me is having access to the same opportunities, not so much equality as in each person has the same qualities and they're equal, because I don't believe people are equal. They're not equal. Not everybody is equal. There's always going to be people who are going to be better at something, depending on and how do you define equal? Like, what is the ultimate goal? What matters? What is the purpose of equal in what? What you can contribute to society? Equal in in what matters? Is basically what I'm asking. Is like what is it that makes it so that makes a person better? Is it based on what you can contribute? Is it based on on your abilities? You know what I mean? In that case, and if it's based on that, then I think there's no way you can be equal. You know what I mean? I don't believe in equality in races or any of that sort of stuff. It's just I look at everybody as an individual. I guess that's how I look at it. But anyway, um, I think that's all I'm going to say for now, mainly because I'm just kind of doing my thing, doing this a little bit here, it's a little bit there, kind of pick up some sewing, not sewing, but artwork. I do want to get on my sewing machine. I'd like to make some slippers this season, and then finish doing some knitting and whatever. Just doing girl shit, and it's when I say girl shit, I am not in any way trying to be sexist or trying to put labels and titles on it. Okay, because I understand there's flexibility in everybody. Some girls actually like working on trucks. I'm not saying that. Okay, but this is my kind of girly. Okay, we're gonna into her little stuff. Okay, so let's not bend anything. I don't have any ideas about anybody. I'm just trying to live. I'm gonna wrap up this video. I'll be back with another one later. See ya. Bye.